Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Collector Chatter podcast. This is episode 16. I am Miguel, and I'm here with my co-host Charlie. As always, we want to give you a list of our top 10 favorite pops that dropped in 2021. So we're each going to give you one of those. We each came up with our own list. We didn't speak about this beforehand, so we may have some duplicate ones. Who knows? But this is our personal, just what we think were the best that we like. Now, neither of us are probably going to have, I'm just going to guess,
Yep.
any anime stuff, because that's not really our thing. If you guys were out there, I know there was some huge drops in anime, and there was a lot of new animes that came out that had drops. Your list might be completely different, but feel free to let us know down below. Comment here on YouTube if you guys are actually watching on here. Let us know what your top 10 list was. And, if you're listening, pop over to the YouTube page and make sure that you're also subscribed there so you guys could be alerted when we're actually dropping videos for you guys. But yeah, we're going to start off with the top 10. So the way I want to do it is, how about this? We'll go. So I'll say my number 10, and then you can say your number 10, and then we can kind of just go back and forth. We don't have to go too in depth on it. Maybe just a quick reason, what we liked about it, or the description of it, because we're not going to show you it right now necessarily. But we'll start off with mine. So we'll do pops. Let's start off with pops first.
Perfect.
So my number 10 pop of 2021 is the Hot Topic Sam, which is from Trick or Treat. So the horror movie Trick or Treat. I love that movie. I'm obviously a huge horror fan, but I like this one because it's him unmasked. Most of the time you see Sam and it's with like that duffel like bag looking head thing. And on this one, he doesn't have that. Kind of looks like a deformed pumpkin. In the movie, you would know he looks very crazy, but it was cool. I like that. And that was one of the ones I dropped. That was one of my favorites. So I made it as my number 10.
Cool. For my number 10, I'm going with the Boba Fett in his, Tusken Raider outfit from the season premiere of season 2 of The Mandalorian. And this was just recently a New York Comic Con exclusive. Boba Fett's one of my favorite characters of all time. I just love that, it was him in that, something different from his iconic armor. So when you first saw that in the show, it was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And I love that they made a pop of that.
Yeah, that is a pretty sick one. My number 9 is my only 2-pack. So it's actually the Russo brothers 2-pack, it's actually back here. Such a sick pop. I mean, it was cool.
I forgot about that one.
That was actually a convention. So what's good about it was a summer fun con, the day that the summer convention, which is fun con, and it's a 2,000 piece. So it does have a limited 2,000 piece sticker on it. I was lucky enough to get this because somebody actually got it for me who won the lottery, because if you didn't win a lottery, like we spoke about before with the virtual conventions, you weren't going to get some of these limited or some of these things with the con stickers. So this was one that I was able to get off of somebody. Thank you for picking that up for me. But yeah, it was one of my favorites. Obviously, if you're a Marvel fan, Avengers, the Infinity War, Endgame, and all that, you know that they are the masterminds behind it. So it was cool to see them. It looks just like them too. It was pretty funny, and it's a 2-pack. So that was definitely one of mine. So that's my number 9.
Okay, so my number 9, and like once again, this is all based off of our personal fandoms and favorite, not necessarily based off of value, which just like you'll see probably definitely a trend with mine. So my number 9 is Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian, with his helmet off, holding Grogu. I collect that line completely, and when you finally got to see his face in that show, it was like a big deal. I know Pedro Pascal, there's been rumors that he doesn't like that people don't get to see that he's under the armor. So I like that they finally made, a pop of it, and it just was really cool. And I really, really love that one.
Yeah. And it looks like Pedro Pascal, which is cool. They made a really good mold of him and his hair.
And it's also my, what I look like on our Collector Chatter.
Yeah. Your little avatar. Nice. All right. So then number 8 for me, kind of horror related as well, is the Freddy Funko Flocked Wolfman, which came out for Fun Days. So this is one. So there's 2 out of the 10, I have 8 of them. 2 of them I don't have, but I would want. This is one of the ones I don't have. And I have the regular Freddy as Wolfman, just not the flocked version. So mine's like a 3,000 piece. This one was like a 1,000 piece, whatever. But I think it's so awesome. I mean, as a Freddy Funko, it looks cool. I don't think there's any flocked versions of Freddy, if I'm not mistaken,
and no, I don't think
that exist. So I think this was the first one. And I just think it's a super cool one. It's very limited. It was for the fun days. And if you're Universal Monsters, if you're a horror fan, anything like that, like this is like a must have. And it looks so cool. Like he's literally looks like a little wolf. So it's cool. So like I said, I have the regular one, but the flocked one is the one that made my list at number 8, because obviously that one's even cooler.
So my number 8, so we're continuing that Mandalorian trend, was the Amazon exclusive Ahsoka Tano with her hood with the double lightsabers. It's her, I know they made a common one during this line, but it's a first appearance of Ahsoka Tano in live action. So it's the mold based off of Rosario Dawson, and that scene when you first see her in her episode is just, to me, badass. Is one of my favorite episodes of the entire series. She's one of my favorite characters of all time. I've loved her since Clone Wars. So I think this is the best Ahsoka Tano pop out there. So that's why I have it pretty up in my top 10 at number 8.
Yeah, I think that her hooded is like such an iconic like looking thing. They even have a Hot Toys version of her with the hood up.
It's awesome.
That looks so cool. All right, so now let's go to number 7. So number 7 on my list is going to be my first of 3 actually Blacklight pops. So it's going to be the Blacklight Ghost Rider. So this was the second one, like I said, that I don't have. And this pop is sick. I mean, obviously I'm a huge Blacklight fan, like I said before, but I love that this is a ride. So it's him on his motorcycle, and it's the first Blacklight like ride. Otherwise, we've only gotten 4-inch and 10-inch versions of Blacklight. So it's the first one like that. It's exclusive. It's a Funko Shop exclusive. I missed this, and I'm so mad that I did, because now the price is ridiculous, and I don't see it going down anytime soon. But it's a super cool mold. The colors on it look amazing. And yeah, it's a super cool. We don't have too many Ghost Rider pops in general. And for the most part, they're pretty pricey. So this is just another one to add to that. But I think on the Blacklight line and just the box and the way it looks and everything is just so cool.
Okay, so for my number 7, I'm gonna actually go with the Iron Man diecast. It was the first diecast pop that I actually got, and Iron Man is one of my favorite characters of all time. He's made, we've said this before, in my opinion, he is a perfect pop to be in the diecast form, and I just, really loved it, and it's what got me to fall in love with the line. So that's why I got that at number 7.
Nice. Yeah, that's a really cool one. Number 6 for me is my only 10-inch. So this is actually the 10-inch Spider-Man from No Way Home, the black suit. I think it's sick. I mean, after seeing No Way Home, you appreciate it even more. I love, we don't have Spider-Man in a bigger size, like a 10-inch version. So the fact that they came out with him in the 10-inch version, I know there's going to be a new one coming out soon, but his pose is cool. The iconic crouching down, like with his knee out like that. I think it's just so cool. The suit is cool because it's black. Obviously, if you watch the movie, you know what that is. I don't want to do any spoilers, but I just love that it's a cool pop. But Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters in general. So to have him in a 10-inch form, I think it's super cool. So that's why it's my number 6.
So my number 6 you'll find funny, because it is also the exact same pop, the Spider-Man 10-inch. Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters as well. And weirdly enough, I do wish it was a different suit from the movie. But the pose is awesome. The black and gold. I mean, it's the chase that I wanted from the Funko Soda. It's an awesome one. And they seem to be doing more and more 10 inches of, having more action type poses. And this one was perfect. So that's why I have it there. It's funny that we have it at the same one.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, let's get into top 5. So my number 5 is going to be another Blacklight pop, and it's pretty new, but I put that number 5 for 2021, the Blacklight Jimi Hendrix. And I want to say the blue face is my favorite, but then after getting the like rainbow colored one from the con, I almost like that just as much. So it's kind of like a cheat. Like I'm going to kind of say both of them because they both kind of dropped at the same time, but you can kind of like one over the other. But I think just having Jimi Hendrix in a Blacklight makes so much sense psychedelic wise. Come on, like Jimi Hendrix. But yeah, I think it's one of the coolest one of the most anticipated one was obviously the Funko Shop blue face one, which we were waiting for so long. But yeah, that's why it's number 5 on my list. I just think it's such a sick pop.
So my number 5 is another Star Wars one. It's actually the Qui-Gon Jinn Amazon exclusive, which was the Tatooine version. So this is the second time they've made a pop of his. The first one was a con exclusive, very super limited. It's a huge grail. I do not have that in my collection. He's one of my favorite characters. I was worried that they were like never going to make a pop of his that I would probably be able to get. And the other thing I really loved about it is, as everyone knows, all the Star Wars pops are on bases, and normally they're black. This one they made brown. It kind of looked like, this he was on the sands of Tatooine, so it really blended within the pop. I just love it, and I think it's just an awesome mold. And I was so pumped that they made another pop of his.
Nice. So number 4 on my list is my last Blacklight one, is the Blacklight White Rabbit, which was the FunCon exclusive. And this is the thing I was saying that I didn't want to bring up earlier when we were talking about Blacklight pops, but I'm trying to double check, but all of the Blacklight pops that exist are people pops.
Yep.
And essentially, and obviously mutants or whatever, but they're people pops. The only one that's not is this one, the Cheshire Cat as well. So I guess there's 2. But I like that because I think that animals or creatures, that kind of thing, lend better to Blacklight than like humans, because we're so used to seeing human flesh and whatever, and we got to see them with a green face or yellow face or whatever.
Yep.
That seeing this rabbit and yellow and like the colors just pop. It's got a ridiculous value to it, so it's a grail now in my collection that I'm not going to get rid of. But to me, it was just one of the best looking ones that they came out with, one of the best looking in the Alice specific Blacklight ones that they came out with. And yeah, it's a con exclusive, so that makes it pretty cool too. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of that one, and that's why that was number 4 on my list as the best Blacklight pop, in my opinion.
So my number 4 is, we've already talked about in this episode, is the Superman comic cover. I just love the line. It's the first of the line. Superman, he's one of the most iconic superheroes of all time. I think he was probably the best person to start off the line with the Action Comics line. So to me, and I just want to see more and more of these lines, as I said. So that's why I have that at number 4.
Nice. Yeah, I actually forgot about that one.
Yeah, there's so many. Like, I feel like my list.
There's too many.
This is my list for today in this episode. Like, there's just way too many.
These totally are a fluid list. They can completely change tomorrow. Number 3 on my list as of right now is the 18-inch Iron Man. So big fan of it. But I put it at number 3 for a few reasons. You'll see what 2 and 1 are for me. But I love this pop. We've talked about this for a while. I did an unboxing of it, going more in detail of showing it off and everything. We talked about how much we like it. A lot of people don't. I know the price point was high. I know the pop itself is enormous. It's the first 18-inch that I currently own. I just think it's a statement piece. I think it's like a huge, it's an iconic figure like Iron Man himself. It's kind of a great ode to, Robbie Downey Jr.'s entire time, starting from the original Iron Man up to Endgame, and getting another pop of him and having it be him is pretty cool. So that's why I have it as number 3. Like I said, this is fluid, so it could change. It could be number 2 or number 1 in a few days, but right now it's number 3 on my list.
Number 3 actually for me is the exact same one.
Nice.
It's also, I don't need to keep repeating what Mick said. I believe I agree with everything he said. It's the first 18-inch I ever owned, and it's one I always like, something I wanted in my collection. Iron Man was the first character I was like, okay, I'm gonna pull it. Second Iron Man pop within my top 10, so it shows how much I really love the character. And like this one I just had to have. It's just such a cool statement piece.
Yeah, nice. All right, so 2 more left here. So my number 2 of 2021 is a pop town, and it is the Michael Myers with the Michael Myers house. And for multiple reasons, obviously, look at my hoodie. I'm a huge horror fan. Obviously, I love Halloween. I love Michael Myers. So any of his pops, I usually really like. This one is super cool because it is him, and it does have his house. It's a pop town. It has the Michael Myers house. It looks just like the house of the movies. That house, if you've ever watched the Halloweens, the connection, how much it really means to the movie and the connection to Michael Myers. So because of that, that's why it's up there. And it is probably at this point my only pop town, I think, that I currently own. So that's another reason why I think it would be one of the best. And that's number 2 on my 2021 pops that dropped.
Awesome. My number two is actually it's a common pop, and it's pretty new, but it's a character that when I saw it on screen, I needed a pop, and it's Luke Skywalker with Grogu. He is one of, my greatest characters of all time from my childhood up to now. And, everyone has their opinions of the Star Wars sequel trilogy with how they handled Luke. But when you saw Luke Skywalker at the end of Mandalorian, it just, I mean, I'm a huge nerd. It brought tears to my eyes. I needed this pop, and this one's awesome. And I can't wait for one that they've announced is coming out next year of him with his green lightsaber with his hood just added to the hood collection. It's awesome. So that's my number two.
Yeah, that is a really sick pop. All right, so here we go. Our last one. So number one on my list, my personal top 10, obviously, pops of 2021 is going to be the Batman diecast. And for me, I know you had Iron Man in your top 10. I love the Iron Man one as well, but obviously I'm a huge Batman fan. So having Batman be one of the diecast, I think was awesome. It was the third one in the line, but it was my favorite because of the black. I think looks amazing in the diecast. So I just think he just like, even though Iron Man being metal makes more sense to be diecast, I just think that the black on the Batman one just looked amazing. And diecast in general, we talked about it before, as being one of my favorite lines of the year. I had to have a diecast on here, and my personal favorite would be the Batman one. So it is my number one the best pops in 2021.
So my number one is actually, this entire list was difficult for me to make, but number one was always going to be number one. And it is the Force Ghost 3-pack for Star Wars Amazon exclusive. To me, this is going to be it hasn't hit us in the States yet, but I included it on my list because, people already have it in their possession with the special edition.
Yeah, I just think it's been
international.
delayed.
So it's been delayed for Amazon. So I don't have it in my collection yet, but I pre-ordered it. But I will tell you, this will be one of the greatest pops, in my opinion, to ever be made and to be in my collection. That was my favorite movie as a kid, Return of the Jedi. And I love, love, love that they made this 3-pack with the Force Ghosts. It's just, I've always wanted them to make this. Like, they make those, and I don't want to go on, but since it's our number one, they've made, the holographic lines for Star Wars, but they make them, to me, they're not Force Ghost pops. Like, this is them as the Force Ghost, and it totally is perfect in the holographic look. Like, to me, and they glow in the dark. Like, I want these so bad. And to me, this is a clear number one for me.
Yeah. And that style that they make as glows so well, like much better than some of the ones that are just glow in the dark with like a simple paint. So yeah, that I completely forgot about that, but that's one I actually have on pre-order as well. And I don't know what's going on with it. It keeps getting delayed, but yeah, that is
annoying. I need that in my hands.
All right, so that was our top 10 pops of 2021, personal, of course, and you could see obviously kind of where our fandoms are, but that was what we saw as some of the best. Let us know some of the best for you guys, like I said before. But now